All right, to discuss this further, what are the sticking points? Is Hamas going to agree? Will this peace plan finally be what it requires to bring a ceasefire or any kind of halt to hostilities? I'm now being joined by Mohammad Najib, who is a war journalist and security analyst in Ramallah. Mohammad, thanks so much for joining me here on the broadcast. Now, Trump claims Israel has agreed to an initial withdrawal line, putting the onus now on Hamas to agree and put the ceasefire into effect. Will Hamas agree to these terms?
The good news that Hamas had agreed to Trump's proposal on Friday, and the bad news that this is not the ideal proposal for both Hamas and Israel. Therefore, they don't want to say no to Trump. They said yes, but they have to negotiate on details, over details. There are a lot of things that need to be discussed, but there is a lot of pressure from Turkey, from Qatar, from Egypt, and Hamas delegations will arrive later today to Cairo. The Qatari delegation will arrive tomorrow. The Americans there, and as well as the Israelis also are heading there to Cairo. So Cairo is going to witness a very tough negotiations and discussions beginning from tomorrow. And the delegations hopes by Thursday we will witness the free of the Israeli hostages from Gaza.
Yeah, and
there are a lot of details to be overcome.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Najib, I wanted to come to that. What would be the key sticking points here which need to be ironed out for any kind of a resolution or any conclusion here?
Well, Israel wants the disarmament of Hamas, and Hamas says they are ready to turn over their offensive weapons, and the defensive weapons, they want to keep it. And they said that we can turn our weapons to the Palestinian Authority, not to Israel or to other authorities. But there are some proposals that Egypt says they can keep it as a deposit by Egypt until the establishment of the Palestinian state or the requalification of the Palestinian Authority to rule the Gaza Strip. So I am sure there are a lot of pressure, unprecedented pressure on Hamas from Turkey, Egypt, Cairo, and Qatar. And at the end, they will have to reach an agreement, because also Hamas is very much interested to find an agreement and to end the war, but also in a way to save its face.
And Mr. Najib, I take your point that Hamas is very much keen. They are showing some kind of indications, but let's look at the terms here. The Israeli Prime Minister has said that all hostages will be released, living and dead. It's going to happen in one phase, and then the IDF will remain in the depth of the strip. Hamas disarmament is the other part of it. Is Hamas just going to, respond to this in affirmative manner, or is it going to react? What is expected now in Cairo? Or is the pressure from, as you mentioned, Qatar, Egypt, Turkey, is that going to be enough to Hamas to make Hamas bend to all these requisites?
There are a lot of details to reach an agreement about. For example, Hamas needs guarantees. Who will guarantee that the Israelis, after they take the hostages from Hamas captivity, will continue the agreement and withdraw from the Gaza Strip? And Israel yesterday said they want to stay for another 3 to 4 years at Philadelphia route, and to prevent any smuggling of weapons from Egypt and Sinai Peninsula toward the Gaza Strip. They want to keep military points, and keep a buffer zone. So this requires a lot of discussions and negotiations, and also about the flow of the humanitarian aid. Right now, no one talk about it, how it will happen and when it's going to start. So Hamas want that people in Gaza to see some good gestures, good issues happens to them to improve their life. And also the IDF said they want, or they decided, or they stopped the offensive attacks, and they start being in defensive attack status. But also we witnessed a murder of some Palestinians. So there's a lot of things to talk about and to overcome during the coming days. Yeah, Cairo is going to witness a lot of tough discussions, but I am sure and optimistic they will find a solution, and they will never fail to respond to Trump's proposal.
Well, I applaud your positivity, because till now, no one's really agreed to similar terms. But at this point, a lot of nations have agreed to this peace plan. Of course, Israel is all gung-ho about it. They want to go ahead with it. Will Hamas agree? Because most of what is being expected here, what happened in that 20-point peace plan, within days or within the next day itself, Qatar came out saying more negotiations are required. Israel said Palestinian statehood is something we're not willing to consider. So there were already some backtracks or changes or some diversions away from that peace plan. Where do talks head from Cairo? We'll need to discuss that once those talks are completed. Thanks so much for joining me. That was Mohammad Najib joining me from Ramallah.
Thank you.